Okay, so we're here giggling away and it should be live. So let me just double check.
Standard. Putting our...
Oh my gorgeous girl. Let me see. Oh, there we are. Yeah, let me just tag you in this as it's getting us live.
It's a wonder my internet is holding out, you know.
That's such a bad freeze frame. Again, I need to practice freeze frames. Right, okay. So I need it public. So that's where I went wrong last time. From... Now let me tag you in.
You on your personal page? Because I can't see that you're live on there yet, babe.
Right, let me check. So I think it was going only me to start with. So just check. Am I live now?
Live now, I can see it.
Okay, perfect. So this is my second live. Welcome. You're my first ever guest on my Monday Night Live.
I'm mega proud of you doing your lives. You've really inspired me now.
We've been saying for a while, though, that we need to do it. So it's kind of like, let's do it together for my second one. So thanks. So good evening, everybody. Happy Monday. We are here again for my second live. My first one, my skipping one, you actually perceive that you turned out really well. I've had some amazing feedback. Lots of you bought ropes, so I'm super proud of you for that. And I hope you've got stuck in. So let me just make sure that's run that down. Okay, perfect. So can we take a second to welcome my gorgeous friend Jules? She's got a Dyson Air wrap, and I'm really, really jealous how gorgeous does her hair look. Is it easy to
do play tonight? I just had a little play.
Is it as easy as it looks?
Yeah, it is. You've got to get your... Yeah, it is. I mean, you're used to wrapping it round. You just got to let it suck itself. So you'll get a gist. I mean, it's the first time I used it, so I mean, I'll probably get better and better. But I quite fancy.
It's like a night out for us, this girl. We're normally in our scruffs and our loungewear, we'll call it. Loungewear.
I've got my loungewear on underneath.
So let's get straight to it. So as I've said I'm going to go live for a long, long time now. I'm going to mix it between my first one was skipping. My second one, I thought, you know what? Why not introduce one of my closest friends in business? The reason why I even find myself here 7 years on. So welcome, Juliana Bevan.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for having me.
So we're going to keep it to 20 minutes. I've got some questions written down. And what I love is that Jules has no idea. I actually did say I'll send you over some questions to give you a little bit of an idea. And I haven't. And the reason why is that she is definitely one of the most genuine, honest and gorgeous humans I have ever met. And I know that whatever I throw at her, she would just say it from the heart. So I'm ready. I've got my questions. So the profession that we are both part of, I'm really proud of, is a profession called network marketing. Had you ever heard of network marketing before you started?
No. Well, never had. But I found out after I started that my dad used to be in network marketing.
He never did.
He did, yeah.
That's crazy. No way. So I never heard of it. My chosen profession was a police officer. Yours was in banking. And actually, even now, I don't know if it's the same for you, Ju, but people say, oh, do you still do that thing? And they don't see our thing as a profession when actually it is our profession of choice.
Yeah. It's our career.
So when and why did you join?
So I started my career in network marketing 11 years ago. I was completely broke. I was working for a bank, Lloyds CSB Insurance. They were great to work for. When I first started, and then I got myself in a lot of debt. I was in that career for 9 years. I just so happened to work my way through the ladder. And the ladder that I'd worked through meant that I couldn't do any kind of overtime. And I also then was stuck where the hours I was doing meant that I couldn't actually get a job on the side. So then I found myself in a tremendous amount of debt. I was in £35,000 worth of debt and no way to pay it off. It was really bleak.
Was it manageable debt, Ju? Could you manage to, because I always say I was in debt, but it was manageable, was it not?
Okay. It was at first, but then it just gets worse and worse. And I got in this like real spiral, really, that the worst debt I was in, the more I would kind of spend. It was like mental. I don't even know. I look back now, I think, oh my goodness me. And it just spiraled like really out of control to the point where I couldn't even make the minimum payments, it was just so expensive. And I don't know, I know lots of people have been in debt, but when you're in a debt that's spiraling out of control, you're kind of just working to pay that debt.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, that I found myself in that situation, and some other personal things happened as well. I just ended up losing kind of a lot of things, so I needed an extra a couple of £100 per month, and someone offered me a way to do that. I didn't jump at it straight away. I was very, very skeptical, and like most people are, because you go protect yourself. And but then when I kind of realised that it was something that was actually really amazing, I jumped on board.
Okay. And so your initial goal then was what? A few £100 per month?
Yeah, if I could just earn like £250, I needed more, obviously. We all want more. But if I could have just made £250 per month, it meant that I could put petrol in my car at the end of the month, because I always relied on the credit card to do that. And then I'd max the credit cards. So it would mean that I could put petrol in the car at the end of the month and eat. Quite frankly, anything other than super noodles.
Which quite I ate super noodles all through all 3 pregnancies.
I bet you had the bachelor's super noodles. Mine were Asda Smart price for 8 pence. There's a massive difference.
And if you're eating them because you have to rather than just because you're craving them, I can imagine that's not great. So your belief at that point then, because in our industry you see big success stories and you kind of think, oh, it's okay for them because they've been in business a while or they were the lucky ones. Did you actually believe at the point of getting started that you'd be able to build a business the size that you have?
No, never, ever. Outlook and mindset and woe is me, and I didn't even believe that I would earn £200. It was just times were tough. Like I had to try something, or that saying, you either carry on moaning about things or you change it, and I had to do something.
Okay, cool. So how long then did it take to match your full-time income?
To match my full-time income, it took me about 18 months.
Okay. And it's interesting to know, because I didn't say at the beginning, you are the incredible lady that introduced my best friend. People will know on here my best friend is a girl called Emma Cooper. And how you knew Em from years back from dancing, right?
Yeah.
And I'll never forget Emma telling me that she found my ticket out of the police and this was going to be it. And you drove up from Wales, you came to help us, you helped launch our business, and that's how we're here. So I owe an awful lot to you for reaching out to Emma. How long did it take Em from the point that you ever first contacted her to when we actually joined? What was the period of that?
Oh, well, it was a good couple of years, It was a good couple of years, yeah. But the time just wasn't right for her,
Yeah.
So, and that it's been like that with a lot of people that I've brought into my team. I'm still recruiting people now 11 years on and helping them earn an income that I spoke to when I first started.
Yeah, because people say, you got in at the right time, and actually there's no such thing as the right time. It's when timing is right for you, the individual.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say if you want to talk about getting in at the right time, I wouldn't say I got in at the right time. I'd say my life to be able to have, as quick as I went then, I was in a bit of a different space because I was so desperate, and I think if you're really desperate, like you do whatever it takes, Now I'm kind of just a bit more relaxed and a nice free flowing with the way that I'm building my business because, my life is different. I'm not in desperate mode. I'm just I love what I do, So there's a bit of a different intention behind it. So, but I don't, there's no right time. There's only the right time that's for you. And that could be 20 years down the line or.
Yeah, absolutely. My next question was, but you kind of answered it. What motivates you? And I think motivation changes. So at the beginning, you said it was getting out of that debt and those circumstances. Then as you replace your wage, go on to, achieve some of the things that you have, your motivation will change at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. It just becomes a bit different then. And, you know, like, you have, it was a change in energy, isn't it? Because I suppose at the beginning it's very much like it's a desperate energy where I just needed to eat. Then I was like, oh, okay, this is a nice calm. And then it was growing my confidence. And very much now, like, I do what I do now still, and as you do probably, because we just love what we do. You know, there is nothing more rewarding than bringing that new person in that was in the same situation as me, maybe, and know deep in my heart that I can massively make a difference in that person's life. And that's not because it says so in a manual, it's because I've done it myself, you know. Yeah. And that's what comes rewarding. So for me, you know, I've got loads of goals, and there are some material goals as well. One of the main emotional goals for me is that I want my kids to see me working. Like, I could quite easily sit back and not really do much now with the income that I've created, but it's really important that my kids have a work ethic, and they see that the reason why they live in the house they live, drive the cars we drive, go on the holidays that we go on, is because mummy works. Yeah. And she works really hard, and she works for them, and giving them a bit of self-worth as well, because if they don't see it, what do they learn from?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's actually, you know, people might look at where you are now, and you are that success story where people say it's all right for you, Ju, but actually they don't see the 11 years of being £35,000 worth of debt with no children at that point. You know, and I actually heard you say in a training recently that you actually really wanted to be a mummy, but you couldn't see how with so much debt.
I couldn't afford to. Yeah, there was no way. I never, ever, if my situation, and I always say good fortune, but if that good fortune hadn't come my way, or I hadn't have felt as open-minded that day, like, I shudder to think the situation I'd be in now, because I just don't see that it would have been better. I don't know how it would have got any better. Would I be sat here now with 2 kids? I just don't know, because how would I have afforded to? I couldn't even afford to feed myself.
Yeah. You can go around.
Oh, God love them.
So you have, you know, you will openly say, you know, you've gone on a real personal development journey. And I think that's a funny word, because in the place, like, you know, I saw self-help books as like, I don't know, Alcoholic Anonymous, or, you know, I didn't realize that personal development was a thing. And actually, it's a huge part of life, not just business. Yeah. So what do you think either holds people back or stops people from getting started in the first place?
Belief, massively. And, you know, it's lovely. I get lots of messages, and lots of people send me a message and say, Jules, like, what's your secret to success? What's your secret? And I know lots of people go, oh, do you know what? There's no secret. It's hard work. I agree. It is hard work. But in actual fact, if I was going to share just a secret, I do believe that the secret is belief. Like, you have to have that belief in yourself, and also then belief in other people too. And, you know, 9 times out of 10, the reason why people don't get started with us is because they don't believe that they can do what we do, you know, because of their confidence, or maybe worry about what people think. So that means their self-worth is low. So, yeah, I think what certainly held me back, and you know, over the years now, I've coached and helped a lot of people, and it's the same kind of thing, is that they don't believe in themselves, their confidence is low, their self-worth is low, and yeah, it really it's a killer. It's a dream stealer, you know.
Yeah, I always say that as well, that overthinking is a dream stealer, and actually worrying about what people think, worrying about just everything, what if this or what if that. In actual fact, you know, our industries, we say, don't we, that you're in business for yourself, but you never by yourself. And to have somebody hold your hand, guide you, to show you exactly what to do, because that's all you've done with me and Em, you know. And we started and looked at you, and no disrespect to you, because we're really good friends now, but me and Emma had the conversation that, well, look, if you can do it, then we can as well. But that is the business. It's based on other people achieving. Then why can't you do the same? And you've held our hand. You showed us what to do. You gave us the skills, and we had the motivation to build the business from there because of your direction.
Well, you just kind of grabbed it and ran with it, you know. Like, I've never quite seen anything I don't think we've seen it again since, to be honest. What happened with you guys, you were like on a mission, it was happening. And
we were in the place, it was happening, it was done. Well, you believe that was possible, Ju. And we have a saying, don't worry, say like borrow our belief. We massively borrowed your belief because you told us we could, so why could we not?
Yeah, and that is a tip of mine. Like, I would never, even if I thought that someone couldn't do what they say they want to do, I'm not the person to tell you that you can't, because the only limitations that you will put on someone else is the limitations that you have on yourself. So if you don't believe that you can do something, you'll think that someone else can't do it, but everybody's different. So I've always been a yes you can person, yeah, I think that's important.
So, I mean, I've watched so I've been in my business now for the last 7 years. I remember my first ever trip. I was brand new, so I paid to go. Fortunately, it was in London. And I saw you collect your first share of the company's profits, which I posted on my story. Was it 10,000, your first one?
Yeah, it was 10,500. And I bought a caravan with it.
You bought it? You know what you got?
That's where my caravan obsession began.
You actually spent how many? So you got your mummy to 2, Jakey's 4 now, 3.
Yeah, no, Jakey's 4 now.
4, crazy. And Amelia is what? 6 months. 7 months. Oh my god, the lockdown babies that nobody gets to see. But you spent how long of Amelia's beginning bit of life in a caravan, didn't you?
Well, I just packed us up and went to the caravan. I said, see you later. I was, because we were in lockdown, weren't we? And then we were free for a bit. I think I just spent the whole time there. I'm sure we stayed there for like 8 weeks.
And you've renovated the dream home, like my ultimate dream home, and you just up to went in your caravan.
No, you know what, Lisa? It was just something so nice about everything being to hand. I need a baby wipe. Turn around, there it is. I need a baby wipe. I've got to go over to the. You know what I mean? It's like, it was just. I felt really safe, and it was lush, and I had my babies, and it was just us. Oh, it was.
Maybe it's my idea of hell because of the amount of kids I've got. There would be no space to move a caravan.
Yeah, you'd be screwed.
So the dream home, like, to me, I remember the first time I stepped foot in your house, I'm like, oh my god, this is the goal. Like, this is the ultimate home. And I watch your stories and like look at the view, and I'm like, oh, do you ever wake up and think, what happened? Like, can you believe that's your life now?
I know it does hit you. I think sometimes you just do go on life on autopilot, don't you? Especially when you're busy mums and things, and we just carry on. Life gets in the way. Not gets in the way, but life happens, and you respond to it. And then all of a sudden, like, I'll walk across the landing or something and be like, I actually live here, like that. Wow. And then I have to pause and take a moment and just think, wow, like, what on earth, so yeah, I often get those moments, often do.
And you've got there, not been easy. I don't think any business is easy, whether it be network marketing, whether it be anything. Nothing's easy, and anything worth having is definitely worth working for. But what would you say your biggest struggle was, or the biggest thing you've had to overcome in the last 11 years?
My belief.
Mm-hmm.
The belief that I can, the belief that, I mean, I didn't believe that I could earn an extra couple of £100 because I didn't have that extra couple of £100 spare. The idea that I would ever achieve what I have, just that was the biggest thing to overcome in the beginning. And I never ever saw myself there because it was too big. And so I just used to build, I used to keep it there in the back of my head, and then I would build the smaller goals, and each time I'd hit a smaller goal, it would build my confidence, it would build my belief, and I'd be like, right, now I can have, okay, let's think about this. And even now, you've got to, conditioning that happens to you for years and years stays with you. You've got to work hard to pull through that. And I think that being someone that didn't grow up with much either, the idea that you can have more was really, really unreal to me. So that was my biggest struggle, and even least my biggest struggle today, because I have to keep working on my mind to say that, you know, I deserve this, I'm worthy of this, because you know what, sometimes you don't, because you just think, oh my gosh, like is it too good to be true? Your mind plays tricks on you. So you've got to constantly overcome those demons, I suppose you can call them, in the back of your head, because it's something completely different to what I ever thought would be possible, that I ever surrounded myself with as a kid and younger, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And I genuinely believe that our industry is a hope giver. As you know, cheesy as that sounds, it gave me hope that I could have a different set of circumstances. I didn't have to be in the police for another 30 years on top of the 10 I'd already done. It gives people hope, whether that be on a little scale or whether it does encourage people to dream bigger, because I didn't have a dream before I started my business ever. My goal was to retire and, you know, have my pension, and that was me done. So I definitely think what we do gives people hope, which is where our passion comes from, helping more people, because it does help people change, whether it be on a little bit or a massive, massive scale. What would your one piece of advice be? So we're going to have, I can see the people logged on. We've got people that we work with in business. I've got friends that are logged on there. My mum, standard. Hi, mum.
Hi, Ollie.
If my mum wasn't on my life.
At your first product party, it was at her house.
No, it was actually my mum's friend. Do you remember?
Oh.
And I rang my nan, and I'm like, Nan, God rest her soul. I'm like, Nan, you're coming to my first launch. She's like, I thought I was at my house. I'm like, no. I would have told you if I was turning up with 10 ladies at your house. She's like, oh
love her.
But yeah, my mum's here. So what would your one piece of advice be to business owners that, you know, not even necessarily that are in our team, that even brand new, have been in business a little bit longer? What would your one piece of business advice be?
Never, ever, ever give up. And I'll tell you for why. There was a time where I literally didn't think that I could overcome my nervousness, my worried about what people would think, and you know what, just get over myself and just ask someone, do they want to earn an income, you know? And I can remember sat there and I'd lost everything. I was living with my dad. I stood in my dad's kitchen, and I can remember saying, I can't do this anymore. I just can't do this anymore. And I gave up for an hour. And in that, and you know what, right? It makes me shudder now to think that imagine I had given up, because oh my goodness me, it literally, and it's so true what they say. The minute that you're about to give up is the minute, or when you give it is the minute when something magical is about to happen. And it did. And I recruited this fabulous lady in Birmingham, and Birmingham just set alight. And within about 3 months, 3 months, I'd taken my income from £800 to £2,000. And I can remember sat in my dad's kitchen and we were crying, both of us, because we were just like, it works. It works. And then 3 months later, I'd taken my income to £6,000.
Crazy. And that's and that was the point, I think, when we joined, because I remember Emma saying, like, this girl's earning £6,000. I've asked to see her bank statement, and she showed me, and like, that was the police officers in us, you know. So imagine you would have given up. My reality is I wouldn't have had the boys because I couldn't afford any more babies, and I'd still be in the police. Like, that's my reality. So I am grateful to you. What would your one piece of advice be to anybody looking, not at our industry, anybody that's just got that niggle that, is there something more, or I've been wanting to do X, Y, and Z for years? What would your piece of advice be to them?
Just go for it, because you just never know what could happen. Literally, like, there are too many people in this world that don't go for something, and not even, like we said, our industry, just anything, or don't go and set their own hairdressing salon up, or don't go and, you know, set their own stationery business up. I don't know, whatever it could be. There are too many people because they're afraid. They're afraid of failing, and they're afraid of what people might say and think. Well, firstly, you'll fail more if you don't try.
Yeah.
Because 60 years down the line, you look back and think, what if? that is a bad thing. I would never, ever want to look back at my life and think, what if? And secondly, you deserve to live an amazing life, and you deserve to be in control. And if that means that you go and step away and step into your greatness, that is your purpose, and that is what you should do in life. So don't listen to anybody. Opinions, other people's opinions aren't your reality. Go and step into your greatness, be the best version of yourself you can be, and never ever look back, because I promise you the magical journey of whatever you choose to do when it's on your terms, you just won't even recognize life. It's insane.
You know what, I'm leaving it there, because what an absolute perfect way to end it. You are so right. My last one was your biggest achievement, and I don't even think you've achieved a fraction of what I'm going to get to see you achieve, Ju, between now and however long we build a business together. You know, I've watched you collect your first check. I watched you collect your largest check, and you wasn't even there for that. I watched somebody collect it on your behalf. Is that the biggest one? Because you was pregnant, wasn't it?
Yeah, so, yeah.
You know, what was it? My country manager, was it 270,000? Your biggest share of company profits? Yeah. You know, so I've watched you collect both, really, and I just think I'm grateful to you, to your friendship. You know, today I've belly laughed all afternoon at our voice notes. Are you two still going? I'm like, yeah, still going. But I am genuinely grateful for your friendship. I'm grateful for all that you do, and I'm really proud of everything that you've achieved. I really, really am.
And the same back to you, babes. Honestly, like, you are absolutely insanely amazing. Like, I can't even think of anybody better to be, you know, going hand in hand in our next amazing journey with. Like, honestly, everything that you do for the team, you are amazing. And yeah, I'm excited. We're going to have a ball, aren't we?
Yeah, we absolutely are. So thank you for my Monday Night Live. I get rosier and rosier as I do it, though. You look beautiful. It's given us a chance to do our hair and put a little makeup on, with nothing else. Thank you for joining me, Ju, for my second Monday Night Live. When are yours starting, more importantly?
I'm going to start. Well, I'm actually launching a new business now on Wednesday. I was going to start Wednesday. So I'm hoping to do a Wednesday night live. So yeah, keep an eye. It might fluctuate between like 8 or 9 o'clock after I've launched this business. But yeah, I'm aiming for Wednesday at 9 p.m.
Perfect. Thank you, my darling, for joining me this evening. I love you lots. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you for joining us, and stay safe and sane.
Stay safe.
Bye.
Bye.